Welcome back, Captains! This is Captain Semantics, coming at you again to continue with the tutorial session on the early game of World of Warships. Last match, I went over some basic settings, went over the port here, went over how the first few account levels, just describing what they are. We did the introductory battle, and then we did the a co-op battle. Now, from that co-op battle, I got enough XP to unlock the modules in the tech tree. So I'm now account level 2. Go ahead and look at the modules here. With the Erie, actually, your ship XP is listed here as a silver star. And when you pull up the modules, you'll see that you have different buttons that you can click on. Have a little number with a silver star beside it. That's how much XP you need to unlock those various those various modules. The area only has the one module to unlock. And then after that, you go straight on to the next ship, the Chester. The way you unlock it is you click on it. It gets it pulled up, and then you say research. They'll ask if you really want to, so you can then say yes, which will then give you the option to purchase and mount the module for your credits. Silver, what have you. This is the in-game currency, or the in-game non-premium currency. I'm just going to say no for right now, because that last battle actually got me enough to where I can go ahead and unlock the Chester, which is the next ship. That is a pretty vessel. It's tier 2, you don't spend a lot of time in it, but that is a very pretty vessel. Same thing, though when you click on the ship itself, it moves the research button up to here instead of, well, up to here and underneath the ship itself, rather than on the rather than pulling up a little window. Go ahead, click research, because it's the only other thing I can use my ship XP on the Erie for. So I'll go ahead and research that, which means now that I've researched everything on the Erie, that gets it to elite status. With it being elite status, let's go back to the Erie. It actually gets a little different icon here. You know, a little laurel wreath around it. What this means is this 5 XP, I have the ability to convert that over to free XP once I get the free XP unlocked. That being said, that conversion costs premium currency, doubloons, which is similar to the gold in World of Tanks. They're supposed to eventually get the gold unified across World of Tanks, World of Warplanes, and World of Warships, but that still hasn't happened yet. But anyway, we will get to that later once we get there. Before we go any further, though, go ahead and pull up the tech tree now that we have this available, so you can kind of see what all that there is around. So again, like I said, the Japanese and the US actually have a full line for each of the different ship classes: carriers, battleships, cruisers, and destroyers. Now these over here that have kind of the golden icon around, or the golden ship icons, these are what we call premium ships. These are ones that you don't just get through going through the tech tree. You either have to, in the case of like the Albany, Texas, Arizona, Saipan, etc. These you have to either buy with doubloons or buy them off of the website from the premium shop, which I actually have a link to that here now in the actual game client. So I click over to ships. You can see that they have the Mikasa. And there's the Albany again, and it gives you your local currency price. Or I guess if you're playing the North American server, it'll give you US dollars. If you're playing on the European server, it'll give you euros, etc. Now the benefit to buying the ships from the premium shop, even if they are in the tech tree, is you see here, by the Arizona, I also get a port slot for it. If you just buy the ships for doubloons, you only get the ship. If you want a port slot, you have to get the port slot for 300 doubloons as well. You can get port slots in other ways, from mission rewards, from containers, but if you're going to want to do more than going up one particular line of ships, you're probably going to have to buy some more port slots at some point or another. You can also see that I have 7 ships and 4 vacant slots. So I can only have 4 more ships before I run out of room. Little trick is, especially if you know that you're only going to want to push up the one line for the moment, you can go ahead and sell all of your tier 1 ships to get yourself more room. Do not sell a premium ship. If you sell a premium ship, you're SOL. Not entirely. You can contact customer support and say, oops, I sold this by accident, can I get it back? And I think they have it where they will basically return a ship to you that you sold 2 or 3 times in a 12-month period. So if you do it frequently, well, at some point, it's just a PEBCAC issue. That's PEBCAC. PEBCAK. Problem exists between keyboard and chair. Also known in the IT support field as an India Delta 10 Tango error. Or to illustrate, I will just get to where I can type it in here. And we have a lot of people actually do have that as their username, which is hilarious. But yes, an ID 10T. Hopefully I'm not going to get too many tech support people irked by me revealing their secrets. Now think about the tier 1 ships. You can go back and you can purchase the tier 1 ships again. And the only thing you have to pay for, the only thing, is if you have the mod or any modules on them that when you sold them. Otherwise, purchase ship for 0 credits. And that's it. Now, a couple things you're going to want to note once you get up to the random battles. Let's go ahead and pull up the account here. Containers, free XP, upgrade. Okay, first off, upgrades. These are things that will actually make your ship better, that you'll have a couple different choices. Once I get to level 6 in the service record, I'll be able to show you. But, so if you have a ship with no upgrades versus a ship with upgrades, the ship that has upgrades will have a slight advantage in some ways. They're usually not too pronounced at the lower tiers, and you're not going to be able to get up to the higher tiers before you hit to level 6 in your service record anyway. But the other big one is getting up to level 7 in the service record. You can get up to tier 4 and tier 5 before you get to the ship commanders. And there is a fairly stark difference between a ship sailing with a 0-point commander and a ship sailing with a 8, 9, 10, 14, 15 plus point commander. They cap at 19 skill points. And again, once I get here, I will show more of this. I'll show more about that. So if you are getting schooled, it may not be that you are just horrible. Don't give up. Keep pressing forward. And the ship commanders, while they give you some benefits, it's not going to fix people who don't turn every now and again to make sure they don't get torpedoed. And it's not going to fix people who sit broadside onto a battleship and then wonder why their HP is just evaporating as they have 12, 14, 16-inch shells punching through their side and wrecking their engine spaces. If you learn a lot of the basics and you apply them well, which will take practice, you're going to do pretty well. But let's go ahead and grab ourselves a Chester. Now the tier 2s and up do have a purchase price, so you will have to spend credits to get them. Now you can sell, and I probably should have explained this, but you sell a ship by right-clicking on it and selecting the sell option. Now when you sell a ship, that's not how much I paid for it. That is half of what I paid for the ship. And if they are running any specials at the moment, you know, like they have 50% off of all U.S. cruisers, for example, and you go to sell a U.S. cruiser, that was weird. Anyway, but you gotta sell a cruiser and all the U.S. cruisers are on sale, for example, you're only gonna get half of the sale price. So that's to prevent people from buying the ships on sale, and then immediately selling them again to try to, at the very least, I guess you wouldn't make credits, but the credits there would be a zero-sum credit issue, which wouldn't be a huge issue, but it is what it is. People are complaining about it, but it's not a huge thing when you get down to it. Now, I'm here on the ammunition and consumables. As you can see, I now have high explosive and armor piercing for my shells. And the choice between the two is going to be important, depending on what ship you're shooting at. And it seems like something has got stuck there. Oh look, I got 500,000 credits because I reached service record level 2. Now consumable. If you look, I can actually click on the consumable and pick between one of two. This is the regular consumable. This is the we call it the premium consumable, but it's the upgraded consumable. Now, you can mount these onto your ships for either credits or doubloons. Don't mount them for doubloons. And, you know, Wargaming, if anybody from Wargaming sees this, please, let us choose what the default is for these consumables. Because otherwise, you always have to come back here, make sure you're clicking the drop down, and you're clicking on the credits. Now, you can't mount it if you don't have any doubloons at all. If you have some doubloons, which you do get from reaching certain account levels and completing some missions, it can be really, really aggravating to realize that you've burnt through a couple hundred doubloons from playing a bunch of matches because you didn't have this set properly. Especially when you can mount the better consumables, because you get them as rewards from missions or from getting to certain account levels. But if you don't set the doubloons, it'll use up all of your preset ones or all your stored ones before starting to charge you. So yes, just another little tip: make sure you always click on the drop down here when you're mounting consumables, and making sure that it's set to using your currency. Though up until you get to tier 4 and tier 5, you don't need to worry about this. It's especially not at how much the cost is compared to how much you make. I mean, that one consumable there will cost about as much as I grossed in the Erie. So even if I did as well as I did in the Erie and the Chester here, the Chester is actually going to have a service cost. And that pretty much just wipe out my entire, any earnings I would have for the match. It does make a huge difference at small tiers, but at the higher tiers, mid to high tiers, it doesn't. Or from tiers 3 to 5 makes a bit of a difference. From 6 on up, though, even from 5 on up, you probably want to be running premium consumables just because they do make it a lot different, or a lot easier for you. Because, I mean, damage control party 1. This is for a cruiser. Active for 5 seconds. Reload time, 90 seconds. You get set on fire, you pop your damage control, it's active for 5 seconds, which actually will keep you from getting set on fire again or modules knocked out again. After the 5 seconds, you have to wait a minute and a half. You get set on fire immediately again, you're burning. Damage control, the premium version, 60 seconds. So that's, that's 2/3 of the time. So at the higher tiers, especially when you're doing randoms, that does come into play. At lower tiers, even if you were doing randoms, you pretty much only use them if you're sealed clubbing for giggles. Now, if we look at the module here, if I wanted to go to the destroyers, I would have to get the fire control system first to get to the destroyers. If I'm wanting to go up the cruiser line, I'll have to go by the B hull, or the Bravo hull, then buy the guns, the gun upgrade, and then I can buy the Tier 3 cruiser, St. Louis. And again, this is why you need to look at the tech tree, figure out what ships you would really want to go for whatever reason. One of the people in the clan, he really wanted to get the gearing, so he started just going up the US destroyer line. He's actually at the Fletcher now, doing the last bit of the grind to get up to the gearing. Me, I want to get the Iowa, I want to get the Fletcher, I want to get the Des Moines, so it's just painful all around. But some people, they want to get, the Lexington, or the Essex, or the Midway carrier. Carrier gameplay is a good bit different, and Wargaming has said that we're going to be doing a massive overhaul to the carrier gameplay this year. It hasn't happened yet. Not going to get into that because that's a whole different ball game. But enough about that. You want to look at the tech tree, figure out which of the lines you want to go up. There actually is another line coming out soon, the Pan-Asian Destroyer line. This is going to be a little different because you'll actually have to get the Tier 1, all lines start out with a Tier 1 cruiser. And the lowest tier destroyer is Tier 2. So you'll actually have to do the cruiser first, and then swap over to the destroyers. But that's just how it goes. You pick out which ships you want. You start off with that Tier 1 ship, and you just start moving down the line. I'm going to actually go from the Chester to the destroyers because I like the US destroyers. They're fun. And I kind of have a nice spread of ships in my main account anyway. This is more, again, just for the tutorials. But got everything set up here, so let us go into battle. Now, after you reach account level 3, you can go into random battles. If you still don't feel comfortable with driving your ship around or with aiming, don't feel like you have to jump straight into random battles. You can always keep playing co-ops, and if you're willing to put the time in, you can get up to Tier 4, even Tier 5 with co-ops. It'll just take a little extra time. Because usually, generally speaking, a bad game or a decent loss in a co-op is going to get you more XP and more credits than a blowout win in a decent loss in random is going to get you more than a blowout win in co-op. Now look here, you do want to pay attention to how your guns are mounted and the firing arcs that they have. So you see I have one here on the aft, second gun on the bow. They have one gun on either the port and starboard side. And you see how that person's name just popped up in pink? We had that one Chester there, Omar Cazador, shoot JL-209. Bit of a jerk move, but it is what it is. Now, Tier 1s can pretty much only see other Tier 1s in battle. Even in co-op, even in random. Or, yeah, even in randoms. Tier 2, 3, and 4 have ±1 matchmaking. Which means for Tier 2s, effectively speaking, you're going to be in 2-3 matches the whole time, which isn't too bad. Tier 3s can either be in a 2-3 match or in a 3-4 match. Tier 4s are going to either be in a 3-4 match or a 4-5 match. 5s are -1 plus 2. So you can actually be top tier in a Tier 5, but it's very often that you're going to be seeing Tier 6s and Tier 7s, which is going to be a bit of a pain. Now, as you see, a straight line actually had or have these islands in the way. But because of the arc of my shells, they can actually shoot over. Unfortunately, if you stop targeting somebody who's on the other side of an island, it will just throw your shell straight to the island. A little annoying there, but it's just how it works. Now, what this Strozovoid did, the destroyers have smoke. He laid a cloud of smoke to obscure him as he moved forward. Didn't really do too well because he kept on charging forward like crazy, but I'll explain that once I actually get the destroyers out. That was a little risky for me, because if I had more dispersion, I would have actually hit my ally there. That it worked. Oh hey, I got the Samson there, and the Chester there took out the allied Tenryu. The Chester actually does have a secondary battery. Secondary batteries are just completely AI controlled. You can hold down control and click on ships to tell your gunners to focus on a vessel. Actually, what I'm doing, I should probably back to 8. The way that Chester was broadside, I just did a bit of a silly bit. I should have actually been firing high explosive at his side there. That would have been doing a lot better to him, all things told. And now we have, lovely, we have an allied destroyer down there with 2 enemy destroyers in a bit of a tango. So we may end up getting capped out here. Okay, and I just sunk something with my secondary battery. Kinda hilarious. I'll take it. Now, if you watch the smokestack, the smoke coming out of the smokestacks when you can see it, it'll actually give you a good indication of how the ships are moving. If you have the smoke trailing far to the back, they are going full ahead. If you have it where the smoke goes vertical, they're going nowhere, and if it's trailing to the fore end of the ship, that means that they are going backwards. So, paying attention to that can make it a lot easier to tell where you want to shoot. He's down, and we have an enemy. Of course. torpedoes. Doesn't matter if they're friendly, enemy. Once Mr. Fish is in the water, they are no longer your friend. He's pretty much dead there. Oh, he just got sunk by torpedoes. Not really the best match for me, but I got myself stuck behind a island for a while, and one of the bots sunk one of their own teammates. That's kind of hilarious. But yeah, even though I sunk 3 ships again, because I didn't do a lot of damage to each of the ships, I didn't get a lot of XP. The way it works is sinking a ship is worth doing 20% of the XP to that vessel. And so the damage reward is based off of how much of a percentage of XP that is for that vessel. So this 1900 damage on this Chester is worth less than the 1900 damage on the Samson, because the Samson has the smaller HP pool in the first place. So anyway, the long and short of it is the amount of HP damage that you do to any ship only rewards you on a percentage basis. So doing this almost 2,000 damage to the Chester was not worth as much as doing this almost 2,000 damage to the Samson, because the Samson has a lower hit point pool. Furthermore, because sinking a ship is only worth 20% of sinking that vessel, it's a lot better to, if you end up doing 95% of damage to a vessel and somebody else does the last 5%, don't get upset. Unless there's an event going on where you are needing to get kills for a mission or for some purpose, don't sweat about the kills. Even if there is an event going on, it's not going to be worth it to start raging in chat over somebody stealing your kills, or worse, team killing over it. Let's head on back to port here. I'll probably do another couple of matches off camera just to get up to the next rank, so that you're not just sitting here watching me go through all the different matches. Now, one other thing to note that they do kind of explain about this, but it's just kind of not really clearly explained. I've already played the matches my Erie and my Chester and won. You can see there's nothing on the little ship card icon here. If I look down here at the Diana, which I haven't played yet, it has a little star indicator here that is indicating that you will get a daily XP bonus for a victory in this ship. And generally speaking, unless there's an event going on, it's going to be a plus 50%, so you're going to get half of your base XP, and that is what you see when you pull up the team score. This number here, this is your base XP. You also see it over on the credits and XP tab, where it just says XP received. The modifiers is what gets me up to the 212, which is plus 50% from the daily win bonus. Sometimes I'll do double XP days, where it's plus 100% over their anniversary, which was just a few weeks ago. It was plus 200%, or triple XP bonus. And there's a service cost for the ship. So, unlike in the Erie, we actually made more money in the Erie than we did in the Chester here, which is kind of funny. But that's only for an XP bonus. That's only for the first win. So if you have a amazing game where you kill 5, 6 of the enemy ships in a random battle, which is 12v12. You do something like 120, 130,000 damage. You get all the sorts of different awards and accolades, but your team still loses. Sorry, no XP bonus there. You're still going to get a lot of XP just because you did very well, but no bonus. Next match where you get blown up 5 minutes into, not even 5 minutes, 2 minutes into the game, and you did only about 2,000 damage, which is nothing. Hey, that's the one where your team is going to be competent and going to win everything. Just roll with it. It's all good. And there are other ways to get bonus XP and bonus credit and bonus stuff, but that's going to come at the higher account levels. So, cover that when I get there. So, again, keep it safe out there, people. Until next time, this is Captain Semantics, signing off.